genius design. What could go wrong? And then this is literally less than a month old. This plastic flexes up and down. So just pushing down with my hand, I can get 3/8 of an inch. Idiots. Absolute idiots. And then stainless steel bollards. On a grout base. What could go wrong? Again, only Pythagorean would cut the corner right. I mean, nobody else would ever cut the corner. And let's just instantly train people that the got it. These are great. All of them. Well, some of them anyway. That one actually says wet floor in English. The important thing is that everybody learns to ignore yellow signs everywhere in the universe. And for some reason we go from the edges aligning with the walkway to here. Obviously they stick out even. Typical UW architecture deployment at its finest. And oh yes, it gets even better. Another stockpile of I wonder how much payola is involved in kickbacks in UW contracts. these things literally stick out past the face of it. That would split my leg open, cut through my jeans. For what possible reason? And of course, instead of mounting this in the planting bed, let's set it out here. Let's set it out here where it's a tripping hazard, because everybody knows that nobody ever cuts the corners tight. Morons. Great landscaping selection. They've been here for 3 months and they're already overgrown. And sure, why would you put the light poles in the planter when you can put them out where the guy in the wheelchair is going to run into them? And let's go for the highest possible maintenance and trash repository possible. Guarantee that's a 10.5-inch curb. More of the same shit show here, except now we've got them up at pocket level, so you can gouge out your thigh. A little doubled up action. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. These absolute idiots put a ramp down the middle of a walkway. Guarantee that luminaire isn't going to be lighting this up. Neither's that one or any of these. So you're going to be out here at night, even if you're by yourself, going down the middle, and they've got a ramp. And again, of course, nobody but Pythagorean would ever take the shortest distance. And I guarantee these aren't supposed to be like that, where they catch your coat pocket. They're supposed to have a return on them. Tell me that's not a full inch. So here, they don't put in the ramp for mounting the railing. The railing at least has some kind of a return on it, but there's no railing on the other sides. So all of this is right outside the entrance to the School of Nursing, and none of the young upcoming health professionals have insisted on the sidewalk being repaired. God only knows. And I actually don't know what code is, but I just don't like these sharp corners on narrow sidewalk entrances. But there's some quality. Somebody got some kickback craftsmanship right there. And I guarantee this little coat grabber is not code compliant. And of course, we spent the extra $1,000 to get a nice sharp instead of a rounded corner on that. And I actually have no idea what this split flat metal post is, except for being something that's going to have about a quarter the lifespan of a real post, but they seem to have utilized it everywhere. I believe this is actually referred to as hostile architecture. And again, yeah, let's put a big rock right on the corner. And I know for a fact, at least on sidewalks, you can't have anything raised. Oh, well, this will be handy when the riots come. You can't have anything raised up over a couple inches. It's called a clear area adjacent to the sidewalk. But like I said, that'll be handy when the riot comes. I didn't even make it up here yet. Uplighting. The most expensive, least efficient form of lighting there is, strewn across every UW campus. Uplighting, at least it's in the flower beds where it isn't blinding you. Some beautiful flat rocks. I'm surprised they didn't install some of the hostile architecture spears there. Now explain this to me. If our goal is to dissuade skateboarders, here we've got 35 feet of skateboarding delight. I could be wrong, but that's a code violation. But then we get over here, and where we've got maybe 24 feet, we're back to the hostile architecture. And I can't imagine how much money they spent on this hardscape. And if the intention was to get the water to drain away from the building, they've actually installed it improperly. Genius. And then one might think that they've reached the end of things here, but no. And of course, but the goal is to stop the skateboarders, but none of the hostile projectiles there. But then we have them here, but none there, none there. I can't, oh, look. Oh, isn't this lovely? So, once again, more instructional training for the patients, visitors, and guests to the UW that yellow cones are just to be ignored. Or maybe these are out with a purpose. Maybe these are out to warn you of the lamppost, which instead of putting out of the pathway, or who knows, possibly even on the corner, they've set there. and none of the little hostile projections there. Can that actually be a drain? You gotta be kidding me. They've got some kind of a drain. Possibly for that, with 90-degree turns in it and no apparent way to clean it out. Here's some lovely flashing. Jeez. Look at this. This is the flashing from their multi and of course it's on a south-facing wall. That's just quintessential UW. And all this was done because the offices down below were flooding. So apparently this area is okay for skateboarding. It's a nicely placed garbage can to keep people from running into the luminaire. Again, a stockpile of instructional cones. Again, okay for skateboarding. Not okay for sitting on. Who cares? I give up. And while I'm bent over to catch my breath, apparently the plan calls for just letting the water go through the sidewalk, which is fine, except when it freezes and it'll blow all this stuff up. But who cares, because the concrete in front of the main entrance is already blowing up. We're back to the no skateboarding, and God help the blind person who decides to set down portion of the tour. Can you imagine signing off on that? Accepting that? Well, hello, FOMS, my old friend. Return to FCC East. And of course now my esophagus is in total spasm. But again, here we have the challenge okay to skateboard section, because it actually has a 32-degree angle. So here's the challenge okay to skateboard section. You can also apparently ride the edge here on your skateboard. No, I'm not going to make it down there. Top notch. Sorry, I just literally vandalized the hospital. You gotta be kidding me. And instead of putting the post in the 11 5/8 inch thick wall, they decided it'd be better to create tripping hazards the entire length.